Hi guys, and welcome to this KARDS basic training video. This is the fifth video in this series of videos where I've been discussing deck building. The very basics of deck building, which starts by modifying slightly the starter decks that you've just unlocked. Now it's time to take a look at the USA starter deck. If you haven't watched the first video in this series, I highly recommend doing so before proceeding any further. So let's check out the US starter deck. Here we go. So this is quite an interesting deck to play with. We have to start, of course, as usual, by recreating it from scratch. And we are going to choose an ally, and the ally in this case is going to be Germany. So, ta-da! I have created the improved USA deck, which is exactly the copy of the regular US starter deck, except now we have the German ally. So this deck has some interesting cards. First, I would like to mention the War Machine. This order card gives you an extra credit slot, which means that you will be ahead of your enemy in terms of credits, and thus you may be able to play out more powerful cards earlier than your enemy. I also think this is the only starter deck that has some artillery units in it, and they can be pretty devastating, especially in these early games where your enemy might not have the answers to deal with these type of units. Then you have, with the artillery units, you have the Greyhound here, which synergizes really well with the artilleries because it is a reconnaissance unit. It blitzes into the front line and gives the units in your support line an attack bonus, which is really good, especially for artilleries and aircraft. If we look at the bit more expensive cards, you have the P40, which is an all-around pretty good fighter. You have an other artillery unit. This one can be really good if it is allowed to live. And then you have pretty cost-effective infantry, the 30th Regiment, and then we're to the Shermans, which is probably the main card I want to try to build this or tune this deck around. If you manage to draw an additional card by meeting the conditions of the deployment ability of the Sherman, it is really awesome. So that will be one of the focus points of this deck. Then we have Death from Above, which is a powerful removal card. We only have one of those, but we will definitely keep that in our deck. War Bonds is also really good. You gain extra credit slots and draw extra cards, which is awesome. And then we have the P51 Mustang, a powerful fighter unit. So now that we've identified some of the key cards and concepts we want to play around in this deck, let's get going. So one of the things we wanted to do was to make sure that we keep the front line from the very beginning, because that gives our Shermans the drawing bonus and will enable our Greyhounds to give the artilleries the attack bonus, and it should protect our artillery units from direct ground attacks. The Panzer II 1-3 with both Blitz and Smokescreen is a really good option here. So we're definitely gonna wanna add those. I am thinking that we have these really slow infantry units here, that maybe we just switch out these 506 airborne units, all of those, and we add the Panzers instead. I'll also switch this one. So now we have like the 4 panzers there, in addition to the greyhounds, which should make it extremely likely that we have these strong blitz units that only cost 1 credit in our opening hand. Instead of this 463rd Battalion, I will place the 70th Infantry Regiment into our deck instead. So what we want to be looking at next is Sudden Strike. We want to take that from the Germans, add more removal into our deck. We are going to remove one of these Awoken Giant cards because we want to really own the front line from the beginning. So it's much less likely that we will be able to use the Awoken Giant cards. I'll place the Sudden Strike in. And then we are going to add these Panzers 38 because this deck is somewhat lacking when it comes to drawing power. The only question is, what are we going to remove to add those Panzers? I am actually gonna go back to the Awoken Giant for the reasons explained earlier, and I'm gonna take a chance and just remove both of those. Like this. Now remember that we have those War Machine cards which give us additional credits, and to try to utilize those I want to add some more expensive cards into this deck. The Panzer 4 here that costs 6 credits is a great addition, and I would also like to add this Panzer 3. I will replace these 8th Cavalry Regiment cards with the Panzer, and I will replace another one and put one of these Panzers 4 here as well. So what else benefit can we get from the German starter? There is one card I can think of, and that is this 4th Pioneer Battalion. So these guys give friendly units in the front line +1 defense as a deployment ability, and this should play well with our frontline focus strategy and hopefully keep our Greyhounds and Panzer IIs alive for a bit longer. So I think that's it. The deck is now pretty focused on capturing the front line from the very beginning, providing bonuses to our artillery units that will be pounding the enemy alongside the ground attack aircraft. We have a bit more drawing power than we had at the start, and hopefully we will get the most out of the Shermans by getting to draw an additional card, because we should be holding the front line. And in addition to that, we might be able to get some extra credits from our ramp cards, and thus being able to deploy some of these big boys relatively early on in the game, and thereby putting some pressure on the enemy. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching.